This is David with High Performance Stoicism. I want to talk to you about why Stoics are friendly. Friendly Stoics, you ask? That's right. Now, it's understandable that you might not think being friendly is a part of practicing Stoicism, but from today all the way to the day on which you become virtuous, the day on which you become a sage, you should be practicing being friendly. That's going to be the message for this video. And Aristotle says there is a virtue of friendliness. And what he means by that is someone is friendly who shares pleasures with other people, good pleasures, and then helps others avoid pain. And there's a picture of someone who is, you could say, open hearted and someone who talks to other people, wishes people well. That's a virtue for Aristotle. In the Stoics, no matter how deep we dig, they're not going to say friendliness is a virtue, but today I'm going to show you it's close to being a virtue, and you'll see how. So let's first start thinking about what kind of person is friendly. Now, there's one kind of friendly person we don't want to be, and Aristotle identifies this person. This person is a flatterer. They are really imitating a friendly person who gets something from someone they think can benefit them. Whereas what Aristotle's talking about and the Stoics are talking about in terms of being a friendly person, it's really just the way you are. And yes, some good things are going to come from that, but that's not the focus. So, what qualities do we think of when we think of someone who is genuinely friendly? Well, they're confident and they're capable of being friendly to strangers. And you can spot them at a party. They don't know you, but they come over, they start talking to you, and they're pretty confident. They're also going to be socially capable. They're capable of dealing with other people. And if they're friendly to you and you're not friendly to them, it's really not a big deal to them. But if the person is really a good person, it's worth knowing them. So they don't really think it's a big loss. They just say, I am a genuinely friendly person. When we think about it further and add into the discussion virtues, the virtues of the Stoics, think about courage. Now, most people are not friendly to strangers because they're afraid of other people. They're afraid of getting rejected. They're afraid of what someone might think, even if they're never going to see that person again. And this is a problem for most people, even throughout their lives. Other people, in some way, what they think matters so much that they just can't be friendly to a stranger. So if you have courage, well, then you are the one that is going to be more likely to be capable of being friendly to strangers. So that's one thing. Another thing is the Stoics say that the virtuous person is going to be just. And being just means they're going to be kind, they're going to be straightforward, they're going to be fair to you, they're going to be honest. And as Cicero notes in his On Obligations, doing that is going to have an effect that you will draw other people to you because people are attracted to people that are just to them and just to other people because they're they have good reason to trust them once they get to a certain point. So just by being a courageous and just person, you're going to be drawing people to you. Now, if we go past Epictetus, we go past Marcus Aurelius and Seneca to the older Stoics, there are passages when they do say the virtuous man, the virtuous person, is going to be a friendly person. And so they talk about conversation in such passages. They talk about the virtuous man is going to be affable, charming, and encouraging. What else? He's going to be lovable. He's going to be graceful and persuasive in conversation. He's going to be able to get along with the majority of people, even if they're not people like him. And so this is why people will be drawn to such a person. And why do they have all these qualities? What is the intention involved? The Stoics say this: they are prone to pursue goodwill and friendship with other people. So the Stoics say it themselves that if you want to be virtuous, if you want to go all the way in practicing Stoicism, you should be pursuing friendship with all kinds of people because, well, there's a number of reasons for that, but it's going to help you become virtuous. That's a point we'll return to later. Now, in addition to that human nature, according to the Stoics, yes, it is rational, but just below being rational as a central necessary feature of being human is you are social. That's the kind of species we are. What that means, in their view, is that human beings naturally act according to the principle of appropriation, which means when you are born, you recognize over time that this body is mine, this is mine, but you make other things mine over time. And one of the things you make yours is your family. This happens at a pretty young age. And as you go through the years, there are people that are outside of your family and you make them your own too. Those people are neighbors. Now, that's just human nature. That's what everybody does to some extent. But the Stoics say, here's what you should do. You should look at your neighbors as family members. Draw them closer to you. A good person, someone trying to be a good person, is going to make their neighbors like family. And then what's going to happen with the people outside of that circle? Strangers, you're going to treat them like neighbors. So even people you don't know, the Stoics want you to practice seeing well of them, seeing good of them, and you're going to draw them closer to you than most people would do by saying, well, that's a stranger I don't know. Being friendly means, okay, I'm going to recognize, as the Stoics believe, that human beings, every single one of them is my brother or sister. So that's going to be a part of your ethical development. In addition to this, we should ask the basic question to understand why Stoics are friendly. What is a friend? And this is something that Zeno, the father of Stoicism, he said something explicitly about this. He said, someone asked him, what is a friend? He says, it's another me. So that's how we often think of our really good friends. That's another me, despite whatever differences in psychology we have, differences in tastes, that person is another me. And this idea of a friendship being involving you and another you is going to become even more important for people who are virtuous because you are on the same page in terms of your values. What you both want is to continue being virtuous, and such a person is going to be a good person in terms of giving you advice, telling you in some ways in which you may not be up to snuff. So pointing out things that you might need to work on. And that person, a virtuous person, is going to be much more valuable than just another ordinary human being who is a friend to you. So lastly, in your development, I want you to think about this. And this is a big one in personal development. And I've worked with a lot of people about this issue. Human beings think too much about what others think. And so I'm not saying they shouldn't think at all about what others think. In other words, I'm saying we're too afraid of other people. And in the development of yourself as a person, moving toward courage, being friendly is going to be one thing that's going to grow your confidence like you would not believe. It's going to move you toward courage because most people are afraid of it. In your heart, you know you are to one extent or another. And the more you start to develop a proneness to pursue goodwill and friendship with strangers, someone you just meet in public, in the park, after a concert, then you're going to start to see, okay, I am becoming more confident. I am becoming a better person socially. All these things are adding up to being courageous and ultimately virtuous. Virtuous. So that's it for my talk. Tell me what you think below in the comments. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.